Hello, welcome once again. This is Newsline, and we begin from Lagos. Now, desperation, they say, is like perfume, and the more you perceive it or the more you smell it, the more crazy it drives you. Now, from Lagos, you must have heard of the story trending about some people who fell victim to illegal homeowners, of course, driven by their desperation. Now, these homeowners defy all environmental laws, partition some portion of the bridge and rent them out illegally into these desperate home seekers. And when the chips are down, they disappear into thin air. But the good story is that the long arm of the law finally caught up with them, and they are now remorseful. But they must face the consequences of their actions. Now, specifically, and first story tonight is about residents or some people who rented apartments under the Osborne Bridge in southwest Ikoyi, Lagos, and are now regretting their actions. Although the illegal apartments under the bridge have been pulled down, our correspondent Musa Toliat revisited the location and brings us this scene on Newsline.
The Dolphin Estate under bridge location of this apartment distances itself from every form of decency and embraces infringement of Lagos State environmental laws. Of course, the discovery of the 86 partitioned room apartments under the Dolphin Estate Bridge attracted the enforcement team of the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, and clearance operation became inevitable. Few days later, Newsline went back to the location of the illegal under-bridge apartments, and human activities simply refused to cease.
It is unthinkable that people could actually get very desperate to look for accommodation just anywhere they can find one. Somebody somehow decided to do some makeshift apartment right under the bridge, and then for unsuspecting Nigerians, or let's put it, desperate Nigerians, to come and take accommodation under the bridge.
50-year-old Fumi, a mother of 6, used to be a tenant in one of the rooms under the bridge. Incidentally, she has about 11 months to renew her tenancy when demolition came calling.
I paid 150,000 naira.
Last month.
I moved into this apartment under the bridge in April this year. To raise the money, I gathered all my savings to pay for the apartment. Now it has been demolished.
Unlike Fumi, who displayed some level of ignorance, Femi is a driver, and right from the day he moved into his one-room apartment under the bridge, he knew he was postponing the evil day.
The apartment comprises several rooms, and we pay 150,000 naira per annum. We knew we were living in an illegal apartment under the bridge, but we prefer it because the location is close to where we work. I spent just 200 naira on transportation to where I work.
For laws to serve the purpose they are meant for, concerted efforts by everyone is non-negotiable.
People stay in Dolphin. They've been staying there for years. This didn't happen overnight. Why did they blow the whistle? So it's easier to blame the state government for things. How about those that have been elected at the local level? How about the councillors? How about supervisory councillors? How about the CDAs and the CDCs? It's not about collecting associations fees. It's about protecting the environment, protecting your members. And what we have done is to step in and take ownership. And we shall ensure this place becomes a beautiful garden or a play area.
There is a manhunt for the owner of the illegal apartment under the bridge, and it's only a matter of time before he is docked for his nefarious activities.
26 persons were arrested. The ring leader had been on the run, but we believe we're going to track him.
Incredible, unbelievable. Musa Toliat, thank you for bringing this story. It's real. It's not a strange story. Now, our next story, one would perhaps call a miracle, and indeed it is a miracle, that the patient is still living today. Bilari Michael Etukudo was born with sickle cell anemia and has been battling with it for more than 30 years. Now her kidneys also began to fail, and for Bilari, living with both sickle cell anemia and kidney failure has been a struggle. But as our correspondent Miriam George Yutubo found out, Bilari says she's not giving up.
The joy of every parent is to watch the children grow and contribute to the growth and development of the society. These dreams and aspirations, sometimes by commission or omission, could hit the rock, especially when the challenge takes a toll on the individual's health. This is the story of 35-year-old Bilari Fulani Kwajafa, who hails from Borno State, northeast Nigeria, and married to Michael Etukudo from Akwa Ibom State, south Nigeria. Born into a family of 8, Bilari Fulani Kwajafa and 2 other siblings were said to have been born with sickle cell anemia, while 3 other siblings carry normal cells. 2 of her anemic siblings, however, died of sickle cell-related sicknesses. Bilari's anemic condition and other crises associated with sickle cell, however, did not deter her from obtaining her first degree, marrying and giving birth to her 4-year-old son, as well as serving in her church choir.
Bilari is a woman of faith. Even when I saw her in the hospital, the way she was looking, I almost gave up. But how can you give up on somebody who has not given up on herself? She kept on telling us she would not die, that God was going to save her, and that was it.
What could be likened to the tragedy that struck the camel's back occurred a few years ago when Bilari Michael Etukudo was diagnosed with
chronic kidney disease, and I've been on dialysis session for over a year. From there, I was transplanted, and so the journey has not been easy. I'm currently on immunosuppressant drugs for over 500,000 every month.
Despite all these, a force drove Bilari Michael Etukudo into compiling her life stories into a book titled How I Survived Kidney Failure. She says it is to encourage everyone out there on how to overcome challenges, build readers' faith in God Almighty, as well as raise funds from the sales of the book to sustain her health.
It's a complicated issue, and then these drugs that I can't go a day without. It's very, very important to me. So I'm appealing to as many as are watching me, as many as are seeing me on this video, to please assist me.
There's one thing about having a transplant done. Luckily enough, she's done that. There's also another thing about life after the transplant itself, which is what she's having to deal with. Equally as important as this, or even more important than the transplant itself, because I'm probably sure she doesn't want to go through this again. We say there is no cure for chronic kidney disease. It's only management, and management can be so expensive. It's going to cost a lot of money for her.
Bilari's resilience is quite inspiring. All right, my next story, and this is the story I've been waiting for. It should have been a beautiful one if it did not involve the cemetery. Now, we all know what the cemetery connotes: death, and it also evokes very sad emotions for most people. But regardless, this story is a tribute to those who take up the job of an undertaker and practically live their lives in the cemetery, rendering services many of us would not even dare contemplate. Now, they often have very strong understanding of funeral customs and procedures. At the Kwange Cemetery, many people have spent over 40 years of their productive lives digging graves and burying the dead. And all of this at no cost, no salary, no allowance. And this is the strange destiny path of dozens of undertakers at Kwange Cemetery in Maiduguri. And Mai Jama Adamu files in yet another interesting takeaway on the Kwange Cemetery.
These are men at work. They dig graves daily to bury the dead. They do that on request from families that lost beloved ones, so that on arrival a grave is readily available for burial of the deceased. Sometimes they dig the grave in anticipation, and they never get disappointed. There are always dead bodies to be buried. No day for a rest. Sometimes they get overwhelmed by a number of deaths to be attended to, as was the case at the peak of the dark days of Boko Haram insurgency, when the harvest of deaths went beyond imagination.
Tun lokacin kaga Boko Haram din ana kashe-kashe din nan ma ana kawo gawaki da yawa. Ana kawo gawa mutum 400, 300, 200.
A laughter in a graveyard should not be judged by its face value. The story beneath this laughter is particularly thought-provoking. He's over 80 and a veteran of the Nigerian Civil War. The first time he visited this cemetery was in 1980 to attend burial rites. For the next 44 years, he has remained a volunteer undertaker at this cemetery, and now leading over 20 other undertakers in this business of digging graves and burying the dead. Like Mana Murtala, Mutari Abubakar too has been into this voluntary business for the past 3 decades. He brought his son for burial and from there developed interest in this spiritual service to his community.
Ina makanikanci ta ina yin wannan.
Ina primary. Ina aikin dan saboda angonmu nan yake.
They all share common attraction, the spiritual essence of serving the dead, and are now dogged in the art, and have over the years overcome the tendencies of phobia, nightmare, and fear associated with dealing with human corpses.
Gamsuwan da nake samu to abu ne yana yi dan Allah. To kuma na yi dan Allah, na sa ran dan Allah sai ga Allah na
with families to cater for and no wages to depend on as they serve the dead and the living alike on permanent basis. Their only saving grace are stipends of charity from visitors. Hence, their outcry for consideration by authorities. And this prayer for long life and prosperity is in favor of the Zonal Director NTA Maiduguri Network Center, Muhammad Abubakar. Imagine supplication from hearts full of conviction, echoing through the spiritual silence of graveyard. Indeed, amen unto that prayer.
Thank you, Major Adamu, for that wonderful report. And it won't be a bad idea if people like that, who give all their lives to, essential services such as, taking up the undertaker job, to be recognized. And you're watching Newsline. Don't go away. We have beautiful more stories on the other side when we come back from the break.
With a beautiful fragrance. Beautiful skin is germ-free skin.
Welcome back to Newsline. Now, security operatives in Maiduguri have curtailed violent excesses of some notorious youth, causing nuisance and violence to peaceful residents of Jajere vicinity. Already, an innocent victim of this act is said to be nursing injury after he was stabbed with broken bottles and, of course, warned his family of their consequences if they dared alerted the security. Well, they did alert the security and action already taken. And Pauline Kuji tells us more about this incident.
It began as a simple request by Musa Muhammad to maintain order around this community when a group of youth called VIP, who had turned the front of the house he manages into a hub for illicit activities and the compound as a restroom. Their disregard for property and decency led to tensions boiling one fateful evening in the community, with Musa becoming the target of their aggression, which Masa Ruben, a member of the group, responded with violence, attacking Musa with a broken bottle, leaving him grievously wounded and bleeding profusely.
I have already talked to them. I don't want to see them inside this house because it's not a public toilet. They are smoking here, so I don't know he's in my back. So he carry bottle come and choke me.
As Musa fought for his life, the perpetrators fled the scene. It was only through the swift action of concerned neighbors and family members that Musa was rushed to the hospital for urgent medical attention.
There is fear of danger in the lives of my children and neighbors for impending attacks. I gave birth to a son, but not his character. I plead for forgiveness as I don't have what to eat, not to talk of dragging a court case.
It was another scenario when 3 of Massa Ruben's associates returned to the compound in the dead of night, threatening anyone who dared to speak out against them, leaving the compound people fearful of safety and uncertainty.
As I was passing through the group yesterday, they said to my face, they must kill a woman, which happened to be my wife, who informed the authorities of their actions in the compound. So I am afraid.
I slept after taking my hypertensive drugs, only to be awoken in the middle of the night by a group of youths threatening who reported them to CJTF. They woke me and asked, "Mama, we heard you reported us to CJTF, Sandbag," and I denied doing such. And on their way out, they urinated in the compound, awaiting reaction.
Amidst the chaos, the swift response of the Civilian Joint Task Force CJTF and police brought a glimmer of hope as they launched an investigation that led to the apprehension of the suspects.
Initially, the suspect, Mustafa Adam, also known as Ruben, he was at large, and when the heat got too much, he brought himself to the division. He reported himself.
The arrest provided a measure of relief to the traumatized community that justice will be served, just as the incident will serve as a reminder of the dangers posed by this gangsterism and the importance of community vigilance.
All right. It's devastating to hear allegations of sexual misconduct, and what's still if it is leveled against someone we all hold in trust and looked up to. Imagine a forebearer of the Almighty God involved in allegations of raping someone whom he is supposed to be ministering to. Now, the incident happened during a spiritual cleansing prayer session. The victim, a 25-year-old woman, and Yemi Dalimo has the rest of the story.
The victim, a 25-year-old lady who was allegedly battling with constant dreadful nightmares, was introduced by her mother to the said man of God, Monday Ogunyomi of Foundation Spiritual Church of Christ, Elewero, Abuja, for spiritual cleansing and deliverance from the problem. The cleric charged the mother of the victim the sum of 80,000 naira for the spiritual cleansing, and she deposited 50,000 naira for the job. However, things took a different turn when the pastor was said to have allegedly gone naked and ordered the victim to put off her clothes for the purpose of the prayer session, and he allegedly had carnal knowledge of her. The distraught mother reported the matter at the Aregbe police station in Abuja, where the case was transferred to the anti-kidnapping and gender unit of the command at Okelewu Zone 2.
I knew him, and I could not believe what he did to my daughter. But I have handed him over to God.
The spiritual leader of the church, who was alleged to have broken the trust of the mother that sent her daughter to him for prayer of deliverance, is now a case between the man of God and the Nigerian police force in Ogun State. As the Nigerian police force have now taken the case to the court for the man of God to answer for the offense he had allegedly committed. Reacting to the development, a gender advocate and the Ogun State Police Public Relations Officer, Omodola Odutola, advised parents to desist from leaving their wards, especially the girl child, with predators who will not only break their trust but could also jeopardize the life of such child.
Nobody can be trusted. You have to, in that kind of situation, you have to supervise.
no matter the age, supervise, especially a girl child. Girl children are very vulnerable.
Another problem we have is the cases of broken home. When you have more cases of broken home, these are the kind of problems you would have. Because why should it be the part of the parent or the function of the mother? Why should that be the only option? That the only option should be taking a 25-year-old young girl to what? A spiritual home. So we need more reorientation and more education.
The command reiterates its zero tolerance to all forms of criminality in the state, vowing to bring every criminally minded person to face the wrath of the law.
And just a reminder that the law also says that an accused person is presumed innocent until a prima facie case is established in a competent court of law. All right, now as tragic domestic incidents continue to unfold across the country, we are left grappling with difficult questions about the prevalence of domestic violence and the need for greater awareness and action. Now, in a neighborhood in Jos, what would have been a routine misunderstanding between couples turned into a nightmare. Now, a police officer is accused of a horrifying act of brutality, a heinous crime against his wife. Over what, would you ask? 5,000 naira. Caleb Kuchin has been following this trending story for Newsline.
Dong is one of the fast-growing communities at the outskirts of Jos, with a convergence of mainly civil servants as residents. Unlike other days, Tuesday, the 30th of April, came with this horrific scene, where one of the community members, a police officer, allegedly hacked the wrist of his wife, over 3,000 naira. The accused is said to have asked the wife for some money he kept at home, but unsatisfied with the wife's response, turned violent.
He was not satisfied, but got upset that I was making a jest of him. He took a machete and aimed at my stomach. Then I blocked him with my hand. Unknown to me, he had severed my wrist.
Police Public Relations Officer, Plateau State Command, Alfred Alabo, gives an insight on the incident and what the force is doing about it.
The person happened to be one of our officers in the command, and the commissioner got wind of it, and immediately he directed the DPO to swing into action by ensuring that the officer was arrested. The Police High Command, the Inspector General of Police, frowns at it. The Commissioner of Police on the plateau frowns at it. As I speak to you, the orderly room trial of the officer has been concluded.
This development has generated a lot of concerns and condemnation from all quarters, with stakeholders on women and gender issues calling for stiffer penalty for the culprit.
It's so devastating that, you know, a person who ought to be the law implementer, a law protector, you know, is the one who is involved in this kind of, you know, carnage, outrage. You know, I can't understand, you know, that your wife who is expecting, carrying your baby, you know, you have gone out against her.
We are committed to ensuring that perpetrators of such acts are held accountable and that victims receive the support and justice they deserve.
There must be a law in place that if somebody proposes negotiation, if somebody supports it, suggests it, such a person should be arrested. Such suggestions should be criminalized. Because that's the problem. That's why we are not moving forward with the laws. The laws are there.
May our husband love us and cherish us, not to cut our hands. We marry them with our own hearts, to bear kids with them, to make our life end with them.
Meanwhile, the victim, Hawa Ibrahim, is currently undergoing treatment at the State Specialist Hospital, where the state government, through the relevant ministry, is taking responsibility for her bills and other needs.
Professor Umar Pate sounds familiar, especially in the world of communications, and the hallmark of Labour Foundation could not turn blind eyes to his contributions to social discourse and, of course, raising future experts. And so, as our correspondent Lynn Leneke reports, the professor of mass communication and many others were honored at the 27th anniversary of the Hallmarks of Labour Iconic Award.
Commitment and dedication to hard work. A representation of all these qualities is in the man, Professor Umaru Pate, Vice-Chancellor of Federal University, Kashere, Gombe State. Being a renowned communication scholar with robust contributions to social discourse and the academia has placed him on a pedestal, thereby attracting various recognitions.
In the Nigerian society of today, where ethical values have generally collapsed, the significance of recognizing and honoring individuals whose character and achievements are worth emulating by the young people cannot be overstated.
We also know that we need to prepare our own children for the future. It is also important that we should search for role models that they can fashion their lives after.
In this hall are many like him who have also impacted society positively. Celebrating them shows that Nigeria has a reservoir of scholars who can compete favorably with their counterparts globally. And for the man of the moment, described by many as versatile in all aspects of communication, an orator who has impacted many positively in the communication industry, both locally and internationally, the Award of Excellence in Leadership and Professionalism in the media is coming at the right time.
This is something that Nigerians should look forward to, because they do not simply call you to give you an honor here. You have to be celebrated based on some very defined criteria of excellence in your chosen career. And I'm glad that they have identified me.
It was indeed a night for the parties, as the Minister of Health, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, was also honored for his contributions towards remarkable transformation in the health sector.
Nigeria's health sector is undergoing transformation under the leadership of the President, and as a team in the health sector, we'll just double down to ensure that Nigerians get access to the most basic healthcare services.
Many other dignitaries and institutions were also recognized at the 27th anniversary of the Hallmarks of Labour Role Model Awards.
And you're watching Newsline. We have some more jaw-breaking stories on the other side after the break.
The family of His Royal Highness, King Dr. Apollos Chu, OFR, of Nwogo family in Okori, Ogale, Eleme, River State, and the Wajide family of Umodim, Newi, Anambra State, announced the sudden transition to eternity of our wife, Queen Mother, daughter, sister, and aunt, Her Royal Highness, Njideka Apollos Chu, aged 52 years. Burial arrangement, service of songs, Thursday, May 9th, 2024, 4 p.m. Commonwealth Covenant Church International, Ogale, Friday, May 10th, 2024, 9 a.m. Body departs the military hospital mortuary. 10 a.m. Body arrives at Eleme and received by the Nshia Council of Chiefs, Okori Eleme Council of Chiefs, and Ogale Council of Chiefs. Body is received by the Nwogo family elders and taken to her husband's palace for lying in state. Funeral service, 11 a.m. The King's Court, opposite her husband's palace. Interment follows immediately after. Signed, His Royal Highness King Dr. Apollos Chu, OFR, One Nshia the 10th of Eleme Kingdom, and Egberemere Okori Eleme, River State, husband and chief mourner.
Welcome back to Newsline. Tonight, we celebrate the union of two cultural heritage, Nigeria and Egypt, blending harmoniously in love. Now, this is the story of the wedding between a Nigerian woman, Barrister Ave from Benue State, and Samir Shahin from Egypt. Now, in this report, Charles Abba captured how Ave and Samir embraced each other's heritage, weaving a tapestry of love that transcends borders.
It's not strange to Samir Shahin, an Egyptian and a Muslim, to see Barrister Ave, a Nigerian and a Christian from the thief extraction of Benue State, as a wife. To a religious bigot, a no goes for the answer to the quest. But not so with a duo.
I like her from the first time I meet her. It's normal in my country, actually. So we don't feel like Christian or Muslim or something like that. We don't talk about something like that. So we are the same. All the books is from God, so we are the same.
We can always accommodate anyone regardless of religion or ethnic group. So I'm really happy that I get to live that.
Ave's father, Dominic Yaku, and the mother, Caroline Yaku, seal it with affirmation.
Well, I'm happy with all. I'm good to go. Where she finds happiness is where I believe. I support her. I want her happiness. Religion is of the mind.
It's a beautiful day for me. It's a day I've been longing to witness it. My desire is to have all my daughters get married and my boys get married. I don't want them to be going and receiving from different people to come and give me. I want one man, as I have one man.
High sounds of drumming and trumpeting rent the air, signaling to the North Bank community of Makurdi, the Benue State capital, that something spectacular is around the corner. The kinsmen and the women folk gather in their groups for the traditional marriage rites. The rites are in accordance with the custom and tradition of the Tiv people. Sameh and his friends obediently follow up to do the needful as required by both sides for the bride price. The bride's father, together with the elders, hand over the wife to Samir Shahin after fulfilling the rituals, but not without counsels.
I
believe it's love that is taking her to Egypt.
It is customary for the Tiv people to honor their son-in-law with decoration. The popular Tiv attire, ange, comes handy. Drumming and trumpeting resurface, this time with a customized tone, inviting the couple to the dance floor. But Sameh is not quite in touch with the steps. A guide by Abe suffices. Sameh Shahin's Christian friend, John Fayad, from Lebanon, and Ave's elder brother, George, are happy.
Love has no boundaries. So when you speak about love, when you speak about marriage, you do not speak about anything else.
I wish them a happy marital bliss.
Many who wish them well perceive that in this generation, religious bigotry and fanaticism are becoming history.
Anyway, Charles, he gets used to the steps. Next is the solemnization of the marriage contract between Mariam Garba Baria and Shuaibu Musa, and this was also held at the Kankea Jumat Mosque. Now, Mariam is the daughter of a former NTA staff, Garba Baria Yusuf. Anwar Khaliru tells us more.
People from all walks of life unite to join Garba Barai's family as the marriage contract was formalized. Chief Imam of Kanti Kankia Jumat Mosque presided over the wedding Fatiha. Minister of Housing and Urban Development Ahmed Musa Dangiwa stood in as the representative of the bride in the offer and acceptance ritual with that of the groom Musa Magaji Kankia. After the payment of 100,000 naira bride price and fulfillment of other conditions of the marriage contractual agreement, Shuaibu Magaji and Mariam Garba Baraya were pronounced husband and wife.
Marriage is ordained by Almighty God, and that's why it has to be honored and respected. And that's why we're here, to honor and respect the marriage and to pray for them.
And all of them will respect each other, the bride and the groom, so that the marriage can be a success.
I thank Almighty Allah for sparing our time to witness this day. This is a great special day for us to witness the wedding party of our daughter.
Other guests to the ceremony and the family members offer their advice and best wishes for the couple.
My key advice to them is to be patient, to be tolerant with one another, and whatever they do, it should stop among themselves.
I wish each and everyone to go back safely as he come. Wish the couple a very successful life and a happy living.
We join family, friends and associates to celebrate the 60th Diamond birthday anniversary of Mrs. Anne Akiotu, wife of the Group Managing Director of Dar Communications, Tony Akiotu. Ekene Ndulue captured the memorable moments.
It is a special day for the Akiotu family. The mother of the house, Charity Ann Akiotu, has turned 60 and feeling grateful to God for his mercies. The family is rolling out the drums to mark the celebration, and it was an array of dignitaries that honored their invitation. Though 60, she is still feeling fabulous, and her husband, Tony Akiotu, Group Managing Director, Dar Communications, says it has been 32 years of marital bliss with the celebrant.
I don't let anything bother me. I just live every day as it comes. Anytime I wake up, I just, well, Baba God, I'm up again today. Oh, thank you for keeping me alive. I hand the day over to you.
Oh, she's a wife material in every sense of the word. I mean, she's calm, she's homely, she's very spiritual, emphasis on that word.
For her friends and family, the celebrant can best be described as a beautiful soul.
If she has only 2 naira in account, she's ready to give anybody that needs it, so that everybody around her is happy and comfortable.
The way it is, she will tell you. And if you have issues, can we pray about it? She knows how to do novenas if you're a Catholic.
It's not even my brother's wife, she's my mom. Because the way she's taking care of me, I don't know what to say. My prayers for her is that I wish her long life.
Cutting of the birthday cake came with clinking of glasses as guests toast to good health of the celebrant.
Pray that God Almighty will bring us back here. When you celebrate the celebrant, your agent, your lighter, your brother, and you say your wish is to be more popular than 10. And God will grant that to you.
As she touches life, I know God will give her more healthier years and happier years. She will live longer. That's what I pray for her.
I pray for the entire family, that God will give them long life and also prosperity, and He will continue to guide them and also protect them.
All right, please do stay on the line. We'll be back before you know it. Now, death by suffocation is quite rare, but some time ago, an earthly, tragic and preventable occurrence happened in a community in Niger State. Now, 5 children, including 3 siblings, were suffocated to death in an unused car. Husseina Musa has details of that tragic event.
Al-Bishir in Bakungu, a suburb of Mina Metropolis, was thrown into mourning following the demise of 5 children who suffocated to death after locking themselves in an abandoned Honda Civic car parked for almost a year in an uncompleted building. 13-years-old Hawa Abdullahi, 11-years-old Ramatu Abdullahi, alongside 7-years-old Aisha Abdullahi are all siblings. These 3 children, together with their friends, 6-years-old Sofiano Aliyu and 7-years-old Zahra'u Usman, all of the same neighborhood, were said to have left the site of their parents around 11 a.m. to play. father of the 3 siblings became disturbed, having noticed their absence for more than 3 hours only to find the 5 children dead in this unused car after several hours of search.
What happened was, we were working together when I received call from my place of work. I left, though I didn't spend more than 30 minutes at my place of work, and I asked their older sibling, where is Awa and the other 2? She said they did not mention where they were going, they just left. I checked again, it was after 1. I didn't see them and I became worried. That was when I began the search. I know Hawa, the eldest among them, doesn't hold hunger.
I was not around. I had gone for my uncle's burial, only for me to return around 1 p.m. and I saw their older sibling saying they can't find Hawa and her 2 other siblings.
I went outside. So when I come back, I come meet my wife for here. And I ask her, say, where is Safian? She tell me, say, she don't know where Safian go. So after that, I come out. So I find them, I don't see them. So when I come back, I can see my wife here, come they cry.
The owner of the car, who is also the father to one of the deceased children, Zara Usman, said the car has been parked for almost a year following the removal of fuel subsidy.
I had gone out for my daily activities when I received call that the children have been locked inside the car and 5 of them are dead.
Neighbors spoke on how the unfortunate incident has impacted on the community and lessons they have learned from the sad event.
The community was not feel happy about the incident. You want to leave your house, get everything controlled so that such will not happen. But we have to take some precautions to avoid fish.
That certainly is a reminder of the importance of vigilance when you are tending over minors. On Newsline tonight, we continue with a follow-up on unfolding events in C community in Kana local government area of Rivers State. Now, where a woman was allegedly killed by her husband of over 40 years. Now, that sad reality came to an end with a tale of sorrow, lamentation, and endless tears as the remains of the 59-year-old woman were committed to Mother Earth, and our correspondent Ijeoma Ugweke has been following that report.
Since the alleged murder of Ngwa Eenu of C community in Kana local government area of Rivers State, the community has been thrown into mourning owing to the impeccable character of a woman whose life was cut short after series of inhuman treatment and abuse perpetrated on her and her daughter. Her death, which bleeds the heart of many, especially her children and siblings, expresses the fact that they are not relenting as they are seeking justice for the untimely death of their late mother.
My mother died in a way that shocked me, which I don't expect that to be happening now.
God knows the best, but such man does not deserve to live. The court, they should do the right thing. Same way he killed my mom, same way they should judge him.
This is not a man that's supposed to be led back into the neighborhood because he's not a regular guy. He's not just a guy that walk across the street, have a fight with the neighbors, and they pick him up and put him in jail, and they're expecting him to come back home on bail. This is a guy that not only that he murdered his own wife, this is a man that slept, that have sexual intercourse with his own daughter. As if that is not enough. This is a man, too, that actually sexually assaulted his own mother-in-law. I am just hoping that the criminal justice system will do what they are supposed to do.
The alleged murderer, Dambo Diu, who is still in custody of the security agency, is awaiting trial, and the people are hopeful that he will get the deserved judgment in no distant time to serve as deterrent to people who indulge in such evil acts.
Thank you, Ijoma, and that's how we end Newsline tonight. We want to thank all of you for watching, and to all our contributing stations. We do appreciate all of you for the good work you're doing. But remember that the real adventure begins from your hearts and minds. Good night.
Join us as we embark on an exploration of Nigeria's rich cultural heritage and natural wonders.
He told me that there could be fish here that could be as big as myself. Well, I'm not too small, but any fish that is as big as myself, I think that is very big indeed.
In order to make sense of the pains these women go through every day to be able to provide for their family, I asked how much of this bowl they will fetch from this river to this place to make a truck.
From the bustling streets of Lagos